And this is Judge Alyssa Perez resuming the criminal docket for the 210th District Court for February 15, 2022. Again, all matters being heard are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube. Go ahead and call our next case, calling cause number 2021 0D01363, State of Texas versus David Munoz. May I have announcements?
Robert King for the State of Texas.
Brent Stevens for Mr. Munoz, we're ready.
And Mr. Munoz is appearing from the Plea Center. I have two cases down, but I understand the other case is being dismissed pursuant to this plea. So Munoz, this is Judge Perez. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Great, I can hear you just fine. I'm going to be asking you some questions about the plea that we're about to do. So I need to swear you in. Would you raise your right hand, please? Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Sir, would you state your name for the record?
David Munoz.
Mr. Munoz, I'm going to be asking you about documents you may have reviewed with your attorney, the first of which is marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Those are the plea papers in this case. Within that document, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Munoz, are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you recall reviewing State's Exhibit number 1 with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within that document?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stevens, have you had more than 10 days to prepare a defense in this case?
We have, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering a plea today?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Munoz, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Stevens, do you have any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter a plea?
None at all.
Excuse me, Mr. Munoz, have you ever been found incompetent by any court?
No.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has found you mentally ill?
No.
Based on your testimony and your attorney's representations and my observations of you, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your plea. Sir, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Where were you born?
Staples, Texas.
Okay. So the charge against you in this case is theft of property in an amount less than $2,500 with 2 or more previous convictions. That is a state jail felony. To that charge, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you making your plea freely and voluntarily?
Freely.
I will find you are making your plea freely and voluntarily. Ms. King, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Were the state to proceed to trial on the indictment, the state would have proven each and every element the offense is charged. Theft of property less than $2,500 within 2 or more previous convictions. And cause number 2021 0D02284 and theft of property less than $2,500 with 2 or more previous convictions in cause number 2021 0D01363 beyond a reasonable doubt. Judge, the defendant is pleading to a 2 years deferred adult probation with the remaining terms and conditions stated on the state's plea paperwork. Additionally, the state will dismiss cause number 2021 0D02284. And at this time, the state moves to admit Exhibit 1 as the state's plea paperwork, Exhibit 2, Article 3914 disclosure, and Exhibit 3 as the indictment.
Any objection to the exhibits, Mr. Stevens?
No objections.
And is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Munoz, is that your understanding of the plea agreement as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, states exhibits 1, 2, and 3 will be admitted without objection. Understand, Mr. Munoz, that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your plea. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm going to ask you about is the 1-page document entitled The Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It is a document that explains your appeal rights. Because this is a plea bargain or negotiated case, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Mr. Munoz, you recall reviewing the trial court certification with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, ma'am.
It was signed by your attorney and signed by me as well. Finally, the last document, the motion for deferred adjudication. Do you recall reviewing that document with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stevens, have you explained to your client both the benefits and detriments of deferred adjudication?
I did, Your Honor.
Mr. Munoz, you understand that if you violate a condition of deferred adjudication, the court can proceed to sentence you up to the full range of punishment for this offense. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking the court to grant you deferred adjudication?
I sure am.
I will find there is sufficient evidence to substantiate a finding of guilt. However, I will not enter a finding of guilt at this time. Instead, I will defer further proceedings and place you on community supervision pursuant to the plea agreement for a period of 2 years. There will be a $4,000 fine. However, the entire fine will be probated, which means as long as you are in compliance with your probation, they won't collect the fine. 200 hours of community service, screen for TAP, urine and breath analysis, curfew, drug and theft counseling, and court costs. Is there anything further? Oh, and there is a dismissal. I am signing it as we speak in cause number 2021-0D02284. Is there anything further, Mr. Stevens or Ms. King?
No, Your
Nothing
Honor.
further. Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Munoz. Thank you, Mr. Stevens.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.